over the landscape. She watched as the sky transformed, the colours shifting from a bright blue to a deep orange and purple. It painted the sky in colours of orange and purple, a masterpiece created by nature itself. The clouds seemed to dance in the sky, reflecting the vibrant hues. It was a sight she never grew tired of, no matter how many times she had seen it. The air was warm and smelled of honeysuckle, a sweet fragrance that filled her senses. She took a deep breath, savouring the moment. The old woman smiled, her eyes twinkling with memories of summers past. Each bloom of the honeysuckle brought back a flood of memories, of days spent playing in the fields and evenings spent sharing stories. She loved this time of day, the quiet moments just before nightfall. It was a time for reflection, for remembering the past and dreaming of the future. The serenity of the evening brought her peace, a welcome respite from the busyness of the day. It was the perfect time for stories, a tradition she cherished. As the day turned to night, she would gather her family around and share tales of magic and wonder. Her eyes would light up with excitement, and her voice would take on a melodic tone, drawing everyone in. Stories filled with magic and wonder, of enchanted forests and mystical creatures. She would weave tales of adventure and bravery, of love and loss. Each story was a journey, taking her listeners to far-off places and times long past. Stories that had been passed down for generations, each one a precious gift. She had learned them from her own grandmother, who had learned them from hers. It was a legacy of storytelling, a way to keep the past alive and to teach the young about their heritage. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath, letting the memories wash over her. The world around her seemed to fade away, leaving only the stories. They were her connection to the past, a way to relive the moments that had shaped her life. The world around her seemed to fade away, replaced by the vivid images of her stories. She could see the faces of her loved ones, hear their laughter and feel their presence. It was as if they were right there with her, sharing in the magic of the moment. All that was left were the stories, a tapestry of memories and dreams. They were her most treasured possessions, a source of joy and comfort. She held them close to her heart, knowing that they would live on long after she was gone. And she couldn't wait to share them, to pass on the magic and wonder to the next generation. Her stories were a gift, a way to connect with her family and to keep the past alive. She smiled, knowing that as long as there were stories to tell, she would never be forgotten. A young boy came running up the porch steps. He was full of energy and excitement. He loved to hear his grandmother's stories. "Grandma, Grandma," he cried, "tell me a story, please." The old woman chuckled. "Of course, my dear boy," she said. "What kind of story would you like to hear tonight?" The young boy thought for a moment. "I want to hear a story about magic," he said. "A story about a mischievous sprite." The old woman smiled. "Ah, yes," she said. "I know just the story. This is a story about a mischievous sprite named Puck." Puck lived in the Whispering Woods. He was small and quick, with sparkling wings. He loved to play pranks on the villagers. Sometimes he would tie their shoelaces together. Other times he would hide their keys or make strange noises in the night. The villagers would shake their fists and say, "That Puck is at it again." One sunny afternoon, a young girl named Lily wandered into the woods. She was picking wildflowers, her basket overflowing with colour. She didn't realise how far she had gone. The sun began to set. The shadows grew long and scary. Lily was lost. She called for her mother, but only the wind answered. Tears streamed down her face. Puck watched Lily from behind a tree. He usually loved a good prank, but something about Lily's tears made him sad. He decided to do something different. Section 5. Puck to the rescue. Puck flew out from behind the tree. Lily gasped. She had been wandering through the forest for what felt like hours, her small feet tired and her heart heavy with worry. The sudden appearance of the sprite startled her, but also filled her with a glimmer of hope. She had never seen a sprite before. The stories her grandmother told her about the magical creatures of the forest seemed to come alive in front of her eyes. Puck's wings shimmered in the dappled sunlight, casting tiny rainbows on the forest floor. Puck, in a serious voice, much different from his usual mischievous tone, asked, "Why are you crying, little one?" His eyes, usually twinkling with mischief, were now filled with genuine concern. He had always been the prankster of the forest, but something about the